Today, I'm giving you the start-to-finish guide on building the F-16 Fighting Falcon scale model, which is 72 times smaller than the real-life fighter jet. Now, I'm not a professional modeler. I'm a dad who works night shifts and during my off time finds inner peace, as cheesy as that sounds, in this hobby. The hope is when I improve, you will improve. Now, let's get started. First, let's look at the pieces on the sprues. The molding was good. Sometimes the mold has extra plastic that needs to be sanded off, which we'd call flashing, but there isn't any of that here. The decals look good. The instructions are a bit confusing in areas, which I'll get to later. There's 2 pilots on the sprues, but the instructions show only one. I don't know what the extra one is for, but could be a spare. This is the fun part. While I'm painting the rest of the sprue, I'll explain where the Fighting Falcon got its name. The Air Force had a Name the Plane contest in 1976, and 4 years later it was named the Fighting Falcon. The winner of the contest was Training Sergeant Joseph Kirtle. He was stationed in Colorado at the time of the contest, where he got the name from the Air Force Academy's football team, the Fighting Falcons. This plane has the main body of the aircraft, known as the fuselage, divided into a top and bottom section, whereas most airplanes, it's a left and right. The cockpit floor took a bit of fiddling to get into place, but eventually it went in. The air intake went on next. The placement holes were fairly simple to find, so the whole thing went on pretty easily. The wings went on next. The forward wings went on simply, but the rear wings had a problem with the fit. The holes were too small or the tabs were too big. I ended up trimming the tabs to get them to fit. Next, I'm assembling the missiles on the sprue. They came split, so I had to glue them together. The exhaust piece should have gone on fairly easily with the glue, but it took 2 types of glue and fiddling to get it to stay in place. Now I'm painting the missiles white, like they're supposed to be. The problem is I should have painted the underside of the wing before gluing the missiles on there. Don't make the same mistake I did. Unless you're airbrushing your models, paint everything before gluing. You might be able to see the landing gear wheels in the down position here. I ended up getting rid of them because the glue wouldn't hold. I started painting the front end of the plane gray, and with a small brush I carefully painted around the missiles on the bottom of the wings. I then painted the top of the plane a darker gray. This is the first decal going on. While I'm putting the decals, I'll give you my thoughts on the kit. It's a starter set, which to me means it's for beginners. However, some skill is required to do this kit properly. They don't give any instructions on what to do with the second pilot, which would have been nice, and the landing gear instructions were atrocious. The landing gear came with 5 pieces with no explanation as to how to connect them together. Lastly, the painting instructions were terrible. They should have told you to paint something first before gluing other things together. If I had the chance to make this model again, I would, so I could fix my mistakes, but the whole point of this channel is for me to improve, so I'm okay with making mistakes. And after 8 hours spread through 1 week, this is the end result. It actually turned out a lot better than I thought it would. The decals are nice, and after 2 or 3 coats of paints, it turned out well. I'd give Airfix, the maker of the build, a 6 out of 10 just because some of the instructions weren't clear and the fit on some of the pieces didn't work well. Now that being said, I give myself a 3 out of 10 for my craftsmanship, ha. If you're a beginner like me and want to improve your skills and knowledge in scale modeling, then subscribe and we'll continue this journey to become better together.